Hey, what's going on, everybody? Thanks for joining me here on Poetically Christian. And this is another edition of Should Christians Play, where we do a Christian accessibility review. The series where we go between the lines of the ESRB ratings to ask the questions, should a Christian play? And is this game right and accessible for you? Today, guys, we're going to be reviewing the game Street Fighter 6. And we're going to see if this game is accessible physically and if it's morally accessible for Christians. Hi guys, my name is Derek, and if you're new here and you don't want to miss any of our future reviews on Poetically Christian YouTube, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, and putting a like on the video, guys, helps our ministry immensely. We do sermons on Wednesdays, we do game reviews on Thursdays, and we have a Faith and Fun Fridays, guys, where we just play anything and everything, have a little faith and fun while trying to get to heaven. If that sounds like you guys, go ahead and join the PC tribe by clicking subscribe. And if you're watching on Poetically Christian Gamer Twitch live, remember, guys, also you can hit that follow button and see any of these reviews live, as well as our Faith and Fun Friday gameplays, guys. We stream 3 times a week on Twitch, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Mondays and Fridays are at 7 p.m., Wednesdays at 4. Alright, guys, with all that being said and out of the way, let's get to Street Fighter 6. Alright, guys, you know, as I always do, I rate these games on 2 different categories. One, are they physically accessible for those with disabilities, as I am a legally blind preacher. I come at things from the low vision blind point of view, but I also review the games as far as motor accessibility and deaf and hard of hearing accessibility as well. And of course, then we look at things from a moral standpoint. Is it accessible for Christians? What content is in the game? And as we started in our last review, Mortal Kombat 1, if you guys missed that, we've done Marvel's Midnight Suns and Mortal Kombat 1. Starting with Mortal Kombat 1, we start a new section of the review where we see, is there a way around these things to make the game Christian accessible? So, with that being said, guys, we'll start off with the physical accessibility. Physical accessibility is a mixed bag, guys. We are going to kind of go in here. There is no menu narration for this game at all. There is no option for menu narration. However, there are some accessibility features. By default, the announcer will announce the things that you're on, as I'll show you. So you can kind of know what you're on by default because the announcer announces what thing you're on. There is 3 things you can download on this game. The World Tour, which is kind of an open world type game where you can go around and engage in different fights, different dojos, learn the different characters' moves, keep leveling up your custom created character, things like that. That mode is not accessible for the low vision and blind. There is no navigation assistance whatsoever. You don't know where you're supposed to go. Everything's directed by a mini map, which is very small on the screen. So that is not helpful at all. There are subtitles, however, for the deaf and hard of hearing, and you can adjust the subtitles. And for the motor disabled, there are many different control schemes. We have the classic, which is where you have to input the down forwards for your Hadoukens, things like that. The classic controls you've known for years. There are modern controls, which give you still limited control over your button inputs, but it also gives you a dedicated button for your specials and supers, things like that. And then we have dynamic controls, which basically makes it simplified down to the easiest 1 button presses for different moves, and it will do all automatic combos, things like that, and your dedicated specials. So you have multiple controls if you are motor disabled with this game. As I said, it's a mixed bag. There's different things. You can adjust the camera size, whether it zooms in. You can even take out some of the distraction. You can turn a mode on in this game where you take out some of the background distractions, again, for the visually impaired, so it makes it more focused on just your 2 fighters, and there's less going on the screen. And as like I said, you can zoom in the camera as there's camera controls. So from an accessibility, physical accessibility point of view, I would give this game a C. It doesn't have everything. There's no navigation in the World Tour mode, things like that. But overall, it's not bad. I bounce back and forth between a B and a C on this game for accessibility. Now there is something neat you can turn on. One thing I forgot to mention. We'll go into arcade here. Actually, we'll go to practice. We'll just go into practice. There is, in the options mode, you can turn on. See, the announcer already tells you what you're on. So it's not bad. Let's go with this. There is a option you can turn on in the options to announce your characters. Now, this isn't on by default. You can turn it to come on when you select a character, or you can turn it to tell you what character you're on based on who you're highlighted. I like the highlight because it does this. As soon as I move, see guys, it tells you what fighter you are on. By default, you have to hit the A button to tell you. I'm on Xbox here, it'd be X on your PlayStation. You have to hit that button for it to tell you who you're on, and then B back out of it if you don't want to select them, or circle back out of it. So that is an awesome feature, telling you who you're on. So once you turn that on, the announcer already tells you what game modes you're on. As far as the fighting ground part of things, I think the game is pretty accessible. The World Tour mode is not accessible for the blind or low vision users. If you're deaf, hard of hearing, motor disabled, the game is accessible for you on the World Tour mode. And of course you have the online modes, which is accessible as well, as you can use those modern controls online as well. So from, like I said, from a physical accessibility point of view, this game's pretty good. I'll go with a B now that I kind of balance things out. I'll give this game a B. It's not Mortal Kombat 1 level of accessibility, as that game set the bar extremely high. But it's not like Marvel Midnight Suns bad in its accessibility. So far, I would say Street Fighter 6 would get a B for physical accessibility. Now, on to the moral and Christian accessibility. Should a Christian play this game? Again, it's a mixed bag. We, in this game, have multiple characters who use language. This game got a ESRB rating of T for teen, for mild blood, violence, and language. But what the ESRB ratings don't tell you, and we're going to go between those ESRB rating lines, what this doesn't tell you is that there are several characters on this game that use blasphemous language. The worst offender on this game is a character named Yuri. Yeah, she is one of the worst characters on the game. She uses the GDs and a lot of salty language throughout her story, and it's pretty bad. From a Christian point of view, it's about as offensive as it gets, and I don't want to show it here. I'm not going to do that. But it is very bad. You can check it out on YouTube for yourself and make your own discernment, as we always ask you to do with these reviews. Use your own guide with the Holy Spirit, your own walk with God, your own discernment on these things. I'm just giving you my opinions and what I see in the game, and then leave it up to you guys to make your own discernment. I'm uncomfortable with it personally. It is way across the line. It is just awful. There's also some characters that use some salty language in their stories, such as Luke, and he is kind of rough. And then the newly added, which I do not have, DLC, if you want to avoid one of the rough characters, M. Bison got added, and there's F words and things like that in his story mode and storylines. Akuma, of course, you have, which again could be demonic, as that's up to you and your discernment whether you, again, he's one of the DLC characters. He's not on the game by default. but he's a DLC character. So you can avoid that, just not buy the DLC characters in Akuma and Bison. You'll be fine. Avoid that. I would. I have. I learned my lesson from MK1, guys, buying that combat pack. But Yuri, you are stuck with her by default. She is a default roster character. You cannot remove her from the game. Like MK1, though, however, we have the ability, and there is sound settings, to turn off different aspects of the sound, such as a music sound effect. You can turn off their voiceover, so you don't have to hear that if you don't want to. And you can turn off a voiceover for the cinematics, which they are also skippable. Being able to turn those things off, I would say it makes this game Christian accessible. The ladies are a little questionable in their dress. Not the worst I've ever seen in a game, but they are questionable. And of course, being legally blind, that isn't as much of an issue for me, as I can't see certain details of things. But for you who are not, use your own discernment whether that would be a risk for you. Try to show you some of the ladies' dresses. There's Marisa. You guys can use your own discernment. Okay. Okay. There's Chun-Li. So you guys can kind of use. All right. And I just wanted to kind of show you guys some of the ladies' dress so you can make your own decision on that. Okay, so basically, if I had to rate this game, with the options you're presented to turn the voiceovers off, to skip the cinematics, I would give this game, again, a rating of C for accessibility. It's not as robust as MK1 with the ability to turn certain things off. You don't have as much control, but this game does not have the blood, fatalities, and over-the-top violence that MK1 does. So it's kind of balances out. I would say overall I would give this game, for Christian moral accessibility, a C. So as always, guys, I hope this helps you with your decision whether you want to play Street Fighter 6 or not. I think there's enough here to make it playable for a Christian. But again, it's your own discernment as far as the female dress and those things being in the game, those blasphemous words and taking the Lord's name in vain, things like that. The things the ESRB doesn't tell you, I hope I was able to tell you here today. So overall, I give this game, for physical accessibility, a B, and for Christian moral accessibility, I would give this game a C. So this has been another edition of Should Christians Play, the series where we go between the lines of the ESRB and we ask, is this game right for a Christian, and is it accessible for me, guys? And today, I believe the answer is yes with Street Fighter 6. Hope this review helped you guys. If you don't want to miss any of our future reviews, as I said, subscribe to the YouTube channel on Poetically Christian. Hit that like button. It helps our ministry so much and lets us know you want to keep seeing reviews like this to help you out. And if you want to follow us on Twitch, go ahead and on Poetically Christian Gamer, hit that follow button. You'll be able to join us in our live stream, guys, and be part of the Faith and Fun, the channel for everyone. I love you. God loves you. And until the next one, guys, blessed wishes.